Hi everyone, it's me Krista. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If not, welcome for the very first time to my little art corner here on YouTube. Today we're playing around with the markers that came in the February 2021 Paletteful Packs Box, which were some green Tombow markers, the water-based ones, and a bunch of micron liners. For this project, I decided I wanted to do a version of the Wicked Witch of the West, so I used that as a reference photo. I mostly just wanted to do a fun, stereotypical witch, though. Because of the Tombow markers, I wanted to make sure that I used a thicker watercolor paper, so I'm using some Strathmore watercolor paper 400 series. At this point, I have my sketch in, and I started outlining everything using the different liners, typically starting with the smallest liners and working my way up to the thicker ones for the darkest parts. I was originally only going to use green in her face and hands. That does change a little bit as I go. For the black parts, like I said, I'm just using those micron liners, and for the most part, I'm just doing hatching in a diagonal direction using the thicker liners to get the shading to go on. I also occasionally bring in a white paint Sharpie, a water-based one, and a white gel pen to help pull back out the white, at least at this point. I do pull those in a lot more later. I also pull in some white watercolor later, and you'll see why. As I was working on this, I remembered how much I dislike those water-based Tombow markers. For the way I work with marker, they just don't play very well. I do a lot of layering, which with these, they start to eat at the paper really quickly. If you do more than one layer, they just kind of destroy any paper that I've tried putting it on. From what I understand, they are supposed to be great for calligraphy, and they can be used as a sort of watercolor base where you can mix it with some water and get some lovely watercolor-like effects with them. I do absolutely love the micron pens though. I enjoy the sizes we got, and I just enjoy doing the hatching on this a lot. For some reason, doing the small lines like this always makes me feel happy inside. I find it very calming in a very strange way. And unless you want the black ink to mix with the other markers, make sure that the microns are completely dry first. If they're dry, they will not blend out when you put the other marker over it. If they're not dry yet, they will. Depends on what kind of effects you want, how you want to go with that. I also had way too much fun doing the folds on that poofy sleeve here. It was awesome. I kind of want to redo this with some different items or do something similar with some different items. For instance, I really made a mistake by bringing the green into the background. I wanted to try to use those Tombow markers more to see what they could do. The dark green especially is really patchy and very streaky when you apply it. For the lines in the hair, I'm just creating shapes following where the hair would flow and using the lines to follow it, using the different sized markers as I go to create the shading. This does change quite a bit later because I decided to bring in the other greens over the black areas I have already. I do shade in the hat. Apparently I lost a good little chunk of footage there, but there it is finished. After I have the hat done and have the folds in that as well, I start filling in the background more with that dark green. I just couldn't get it solid no matter what I tried, and because the background is so dark, I start pulling in more white to help outline what I have already. I also pull the light green into the clothing that I have shaded already and the medium green into the hair. After applying all that green, I start using my white paint Sharpie to help create crisper, whiter outlines and to create some cute little curlicues in the hair. I also attempted to do dots in the background. I ended up not liking it very well, so that changes pretty soon here as well. For the background, I decided I wanted to experiment a little bit and see how well the Tombow markers can mix with watercolor paint. So I pulled in some M. Graham & Co. Artist Watercolor in Titanium White Opaque and pulled it in over the green background. I was actually able to get some pretty cool effects this way, and I also pulled the marker over the paint as well. I think they worked pretty well together, and I thought it was an interesting thing to try, and I thought it added an extra element of texture to this piece here. Overall, this is an interesting project in the way of, I learned a lot of stuff about the Tombow markers, even though I've used them before. I tried some different stuff, and it was worth trying. Still not a huge fan of them, though. I really love the micron pens. I'm super happy to have so many different sizes. I know that I will use these in the future on other projects for sure. I also want to play around with an idea of a stereotypical witch like this again, but maybe in acrylic paint or watercolor, just something different. But with that, this project and therefore this video are pretty much done. If you liked it, please hit that like button. If you have any comments, questions, feelings, or concerns, or you've used any of the items in this month's box, please let me know all about it in that comment section down below. If you want to see more videos like this, please feel free to subscribe. I do Paletteful Packs unboxings and projects once a month. As always, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day or night to watch this video and listen to me ramble. I greatly appreciate it. I look forward to hearing from you guys soon, and you will definitely be hearing from me soon. Bye, everybody!